morning. This is Scott with a day in the life of an HVAC tech. What I'm looking at right now is an arced pole connector on the panel box from the outdoor heat pump. What was happening is the unit was not coming on. Contactor was pulled in, the fan is blowing, but the contactor is bad. Excuse me, not the contactor, but the breaker is bad. And so this is the back of the inside where the breaker sits and makes the connection, and remove the wires from the breaker, and then I'll show you the breaker. Voila, there is the breaker. No wonder it was not doing anything. I got 120 volts on each side of the breaker. Checked my lugs, and so what I'm going to do is I've got to go and get a new breaker and replace that and remove the little section from the pole connector on the inside panel, and then go ahead and replace it and make sure everything is working. So when we come back, we will put the breaker back into the panel box, rewire it, and then start it up, and hopefully that will be it. So Scott with a day in the life. We'll be back in just a bit after we get the breaker. Okay, Scott back here, got a new breaker, and I'm getting ready to put this in. This is kind of like a Cutler hammer breaker. The original was, I can't remember the brand name on it, a Bryant. The original was a Bryant. This is a Cutler hammer, or Cutler hammer-like breaker. And I just mentioned to the customer that that same bus connection, you see the section on those two low single poles, it has a burn section on it. So I told him that he may have some problems with that as well. So we need to go ahead and address that soon. So I'm not an electrician. I do heat and air conditioning, but I do know what I see. And that's all the same thing with this one. So this was already having a problem, more than likely. It just wasn't detected at the time. So we're going to go ahead and put this breaker back in. There's a couple other issues I noticed as well. We've got electrical tape on these wires here, which is kind of a concern to me looking at a panel box. I've got electrical tape here, and we've got an extra long wire on one of the single pole breakers, so that's kind of a concern to me as well. So what I did is I actually turned the main off, 200 main off at the top, and that way there was a little piece of metal on that breaker, and I went ahead and removed that. I did that after I turned the main off. Just always be safe when you're dealing with electrical issues. All right, so we'll come back in a minute, and after I get this breaker installed, make sure everything's working, and we'll wrap this job up. Got the main breaker turned back on. I'm going to turn the 25 amp breaker for the condensing unit on, and okay, it is not getting the full 240. It gets it, and then it kicks it back out. So what we need to do is an electrician is going to need to come out and take a look at this panel box, because the shared pole here is these single pole breakers is sharing the same pole here. I'm having the same issue with this breaker, so I'm concerned about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my meter and see if I've got the same issue. But that breaker was definitely busted, so we had to take a look at that first. And we do have 240. We have the override boxes mounted up by Duke Power, Duke Energy, so it is going to have a delay when it starts up. So that is okay, as long as the contactor's pulled in. I'm getting 24 volts. That does cause a delay, the load control. So we'll go ahead and give this a minute for it to start up. We do have a red light indicator on the load control device, so that means it's in a wait time. So we usually have like a 5-minute wait time. So we want to go ahead and make sure that the system turns on. We'll check the pressures and have an electrician come out, and then the AC unit will be his responsibility once he takes a look at the panel box, and to make sure that the system comes on and there's no issues. But in this case, the load control is overriding the system from coming on. So that's why when I turn the breaker on, it comes on and then shuts right back off. So, but we got our 240, and so that's a good indication that we've got that our system's going to come on. So one more time we'll come back and just make sure that the system is going to start up. So we do have 240 at this breaker, which we removed and replaced. We got 240 volts, and we still have a red light. We have a green light now on this one, so that is an indicator that the system is now in call for it, and the timer has well, anyway, the light is preventing you from being able to see the green light. But anyway, here I've got a green and red lit up. As soon as that red switches over, so basically what this is doing is it's closing the contacts. As soon as the contacts are open, we'll be able to come back on, and there we go. System is running. You can see from here the fan is on, and we are in good shape to go and go ahead and check our pressures. So you can see I got my tools set on top of the unit, and we'll check the pressures just to make sure. We should be fine because we had some Freon added probably about a month ago or so. Alright, so we'll be back. Actually, we'll just go ahead and wrap this video up. Scott with the day in the life of an HVAC tech. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.